What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn, and today we are going to be giving our defensive MVP for the 49ers through the first half of the season. I'll go first, Matt. I think this one's clear. It's got to be Fred Warner. The guy is the best linebacker in the NFL, arguably. If he's not the best, he's the second best, depending, I guess, on what Sunday it is. He is playing like no other linebacker right now. He the way he flies from sideline to sideline, his ability to kind of read out the play before, his leadership, you can just see it's grown tremendously. I've seen so many plays of him going over to guys on defense that have either given up a touchdown or had a tackle broken, and he'll go over there and literally pick them up and pat them on the back of the head, and hey, it's all good, next time. I think the 49ers needed that growth, and I think that growth and also the emergence of Drake Greenlaw allowed them to make Quan Alexander expendable. I think that will allow them to kind of move him off the books, save some money. And meanwhile, they have the best linebacker, like I keep saying, in Fred Warner.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. Fred Warner, clearly, there was even stuff going around on Twitter after the game with the Packers where, Aaron Rodgers pretty much dapping him up saying, like, dude, you're all pro. There's no question about it. It's like a lot of these things are politics. It's about your name recognition or whatever. But he's like, you're one of the best in the league. And, you can't – that's high praise. Aaron persnickety is all get out, But if he's giving you praise, it's something. It's like when Bill Belichick gushes over a player. That's a real thing. And so for me, Fred Warner, absolutely fantastic. Sideline to sideline player, in on everything, always hustling. Always doing. Obviously, he's one of our favorite players here. At least for me, he's one of my favorite 49ers. So that's an easy one. And then you touched on my honorable mention, Drake Greenlaw. I think the growth that he's had from his first year, his rookie year, to now, leaps and bounds. And you said it. It made Quan Alexander expendable. He went from first year being a little bit of a liability in coverage to kind of being a wash with Quan Alexander. And the plus side to him is you don't get any of the missed tackles. I think he has 4 missed tackles on the season. So, good for Quan Alexander. I hope he does well in New Orleans. But Dre Greenlaw showed that, he was more than capable of replacing you at a much lower cost, which is going to free up room for the 49ers to hopefully, retain some other people. So my defensive MVP is a guy that has overcome years of trials and tribulations, of injuries, and even has had to share his duties with people on a rotating basis, in and out, even with a complete bum Brian Allen. And my defensive MVP is Jason Verrett for the first half of the season. This is a guy that had all-pro talent but could never keep it together and stay healthy. And so far this year, knock on wood, he's stayed healthy, and he's played absolutely lights out. That pick that he had in the end zone was a thing of beauty, and it just reminds you how good he is. He always seems to be in the right place. Even when he does give up catches, he's right there in the receiver's pocket to take him down. He's a sure tackler. He's been a leader out there when guys like Ahkello Witherspoon can't get on the field, or Emmanuel Mosley is out with a concussion because Jimmy Ward decided to completely take his head off, and then Jimmy Ward's out because he's hurt, and Jaquiski Tartt's out, and you got that bum Brian Allen in there giving up 18 touchdowns to Fitzmagic, all that stuff. The constant in that secondary was Jason Verrett, and some people who will remain nameless like to say, oh, he's not that good. Oh, he's not that good. What about my boy Ahkello Witherspoon? Well, Ahkello Witherspoon isn't on the field. You know who you are. It's fine. Jason Verrett, defensive MVP for me in the first half, because I let you have Fred Warner.
That's a good pick, though. Jason Verrett has been really good, and that's a huge plus for the 49ers season that's been really dark and negative. The guy's played phenomenally, and I think that his kind of dedication to his craft has shown. The way he's able to just play man coverage when the 49ers, usually don't, when it's Richard Sherman instead of Jason Verrett, it lets them do a lot more with their defense. And I think if they were fully healthy with guys like Nick Bosa, Dee Ford, Jason Verrett would be probably getting consideration for Defensive Player of the Year right now. But since they're so beat up and there's not much pressure generated up front, he's kind of getting left out there to dry, and he's still playing well, I think, which is kind of what's the most surprising out of all of that is he's still playing well through all of those things. That's a great pick, man. I really agree with that as well. If it's not Fred Warner, it's got to be Jason Verrett. But throwing out another guy that I've really liked, Kerry Hyder. Talk about unexpected production, and I'm not going to say he's anywhere near Nick Bosa by far, but the guy came in and people were probably thinking, oh my God, there's going to be this huge drop off. He's been solid. He's been really good, actually. Yeah. And a lot of teams would be lucky to have a guy like Kerry Hyder, and the 49ers got him, and he's been a veteran guy who's been able to come in. He's not making too many mistakes. He's, still generating some pressure. We haven't seen him finish too many of those pressures, but still the fact that he's able to produce a little bit of the amount that Nick Bosa would be getting you there, I think is a big win for the 49ers. I mean, it's going from Nick Bosa to nothing, and this guy's kind of able to meet you in between. So I would throw in Kerry Hyder there as well for maybe a little sleeper pick.
Yeah, I kind of like that. He has a tough task of, taking over, I should say, for Bosa, and you kind of see it with just the lack of pass rush the 49ers have had all year. And as a matter of fact, Kerry Hyder leads the 49ers. He has 4.5 sacks. That's the most on the 49ers team right now. And he's one of only 3 players that has an over 1 sack. So it's been slim pickings. The 49ers definitely miss Bosa. They definitely miss D Ford for whatever that's worth. I think D Ford's going to be gone after this year, to be honest. But yeah, it's one of those things. If this defense is healthy, there's so many good players. Like, I talked about Jason Verrett, and you touched on Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman just had his practice window open. Now we could potentially see, Jason Verrett, Emmanuel Mosley, and Richard Sherman out there. If you get Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tart healthy, and then you get K'Wan Williams back from the 200th high ankle sprain we've had, then all of a sudden, the back half of the season, you're looking at a pretty outstanding secondary to go along with those linebackers, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. So, maybe that bails out some of the pass rush, but I do agree that Kerry Hyder has come in and done an excellent job for what's been asked of him. So you really can't ask any more than that. Beyond that, I mean, it's funny that a guy like Kerry Hyder can make Eric Armstead look so inept at his job, but that's exactly what happens. I'll go 2 games without hearing Eric Armstead, other than like at the beginning of the game where they tout Eric Armstead and his contract or whatever, but then he doesn't do anything. And I'll just see randomly, oh, Kerry Hyder got a sack. Oh, Kerry Hyder got a tackle for loss. Those type of things. Oh, Kerry Hyder's in pursuit, So it's cool that the 49ers seem to have this ability to find these kind of diamonds in the rough a little bit and be able to throw those guys out there, because it means the team has depth. And I don't think anybody could argue that, given how many injuries the team has had. So the fact that a guy like Kerry Hyder can lead this team in sacks when before the season, I mean, nobody knew who he was. That just speaks to the work ethic he has, and it speaks to, how important he is to this team. So I definitely agree. That's definitely a good honorable mention.
Yeah, and I think that we kind of be, inept to leave out Dre Greenlaw, because he's played really well. I mentioned him in my first answer with Fred Warner, and why Quan Alexander kind of became expendable, but I think that he is going to be a fantastic linebacker to pair with Fred Warner, hopefully for the next couple of years to come, if the 49ers are able to lock up Fred Warner moving forward. But I think, they have a history of just having a really great duo of linebackers. I think we could be seeing the next one kind of coming up right now with Warner and Greenlaw. I don't know. I really like the two. And I think Greenlaw is as good as a lot of linebackers in this league.
Yeah, he definitely is. And it's room to grow. It's the second year, and usually you have that sophomore slump, but it seems like Dre Greenlaw's taken a step forward. You'd like to see that continue. And it seems to me that, this regime has done a pretty good job of drafting linebackers. Quan seemed like a good signing at the time, not for the price that we got him for, but it seemed like, the talent was there as far as like he's an athletic guy, he can fly around the field. It didn't work out. Even Kyle said it was a purely money move. They really liked him, and so the fact that Dre Greenlaw made him expendable, that just speaks to Dre Greenlaw. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think that's going to do it for us today, guys. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hype. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button below, hit that like button as well, and drop a comment below. Who do you think is the 49ers defensive MVP through the first half of the season? Can't wait to see what you guys say.
Go ahead and click the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Until next time, guys, go Niners.